Good evening, councillors. I open the public forum of the Randwick City Council meeting on the 26th of May 2026 at 6:49 p.m. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. Before we call for apologies and can I just confirm that councillors Luxford and Willington, you can both hear and see? Yep, I'm getting nods. Thank you. Can I please call for apologies and leaves of absence? There are no leaves of absence. Thank you. I have 2 requests to attend by audio-visual link, both on the grounds of sickness. Can I please have a mover? Moved Councillor Gordon, seconded by Councillor Asghari. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. I will now read the chairperson's announcement in relation to this. In accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice, I advise that this meeting is being live streamed via Council's website and a person's image and or voice may be broadcast. The live stream recording will be published on Council's website for at least 12 months after the meeting or for the balance of the Council's term, whichever is the longer period. Attendance at the meeting is taken as consent by a person to their image and or voice being live streamed. All present should refrain from making any defamatory comments or releasing any personal information about another individual without their consent. Council accepts no liability for any damage that may result from defamatory comments made by persons attending this meeting. All liability rests with the individual who made the comments. This meeting must not be live streamed or recorded by others without the prior written consent of Council. Individuals acting in a disorderly manner can be asked by the chairperson to leave the meeting. In relation to the first item, we have one speaker, CP12/26, Randwick Junction Planning Proposal Post-Exhibition Report, speaking for June Fletcher.
Sorry, the declarations.
Yes. Very well observed, Councillor Rosenfeld. Councillors, do we have any declarations in relation to items in the public forum? So CP12/26, the Randwick Junction Planning Proposal, Notice of Motion from Councillor Wilson, 11A Dudley Street, or NM43, Notice of Motion from Councillor Martin, support for the naming of the Crayweed Forest at Coogee Yangar Forest. Okay, so I will call that at the ordinary council meeting. Okay, thank you. Speaking for CP12/26, Randwick Junction Planning Proposal, June Fletcher. Thank you. You have 4 minutes with the possibility of an extension. Thank you.
G'day, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Maria. At the heart of this discussion is the question, what kind of town are we trying to build? Today, the Junction hosts one of the world's great universities, one of the most significant hospitals in the state, a tram line that takes passengers directly to the world's most beautiful harbour. It is this enviable and singular character this council is responsible for, and I commend their ambition for building upon it. What town are we trying to build? Let me echo a few thoughts that many of you have said and many residents and leaders have also declared. Somewhere beautiful, somewhere affordable, and somewhere communal. On beauty, it is pleasing that the council has proposed design excellence as a priority for these developments at the junction. We want the best builders and architects to create the next chapter in our suburb. On affordability, I grew up in this LGA, went to school in this LGA. The only blemish is that my wife is from the Shire, and we're now very lucky to be raising our son, in this LGA. But my friends from school no longer live in Randwick. It's become much too expensive. I hear that many teachers at my old school, Randwick Boys, commute in from afar, because how are they to bear the cost of a mortgage or a rent on a public servant's salary in this neighbourhood? Improving the supply of housing will help make homes more affordable, and without new homes, young people, like my friends, like my colleagues who grew up here, will reluctantly leave. On community, I return again to this neighbourhood's enviable character: a global university, the nation's best drama school, a major hospital, good schools and glorious beaches and parkland. Because of these features, Randwick's residents and workers are some of the world's most prized talent. Because of this, I think it is a nationally significant place where we heal the sick, where we teach, where we undertake some of the world's most important scientific research, host students from around the world, where we train actors, some of whom go on to win Oscars, and also where we raise our children and grandchildren. It's where our lives unfold. It is this council's role to build a physical space that nurtures that community of residents and workers and visitors whose lives revolve around the junction, and its plan gives me great hope. More homes, excellent commercial space, thriving public squares. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of the Speaker? There are no questions of the Speaker. Thank you very much. We now move to the next item, of which there is a speaker, NM 42/26, notice of motion from Councillor Wilson, 11A Dudley Street, Randwick, speaking for Mr. Paul Chilcote.
Hello, councillors, and thank you for your time tonight. My name is Paul Chilcote, and I'm here to talk on the notice of motion regarding heritage consideration for 11A Dudley Street, a picture of which is on the screen now. I live in the adjacent building to the right of the picture. As you can see, 11A Dudley Street is a lovely 1936 Art Deco building with feature brickwork, those beautiful balconies with the Spanish Mission arches, and intact stained glass windows to the street elevation and to the communal stairwells. In terms of context, 11A Dudley Street occupies a very prominent position in the streetscape, sitting at the eastern end of St Paul Street, just down from the spot in the Ritz Theatre, and the site adjoins the old tramline parks which extend through from Dudley Street across Carrington Road into Melody Street, Coogee. It's worth noting that the feature brickwork at the front of the building extends to all sides of the building. Next slide, please. The site is very close to the Dudley Street. That's not the next slide, sorry, but anyway, that's it, thank you. They're very close to the Dudley Street Heritage Conservation Area, which is on the screen currently, or part of it. And as mentioned, the old tramline parks are adjacent, and alongside 11A Dudley Street was the old tram stop. Next slide, please. This is relevant because apart from 11A Dudley Street being a beautiful building in its own right, the surroundings 1930s unit housing from the tram stop shows the development of urbanisation and medium density housing in Coogee, and that can be seen in the diagram. That's just the 1930s buildings. Of course, there's been a lot more redevelopment since. In my opinion, 11A Dudley Street is the most accomplished and noteworthy building in the immediate area. All the other 1930s buildings in this area have since been strata titled with the units individually sold. You might ask why heritage consideration now, and the answer is the whole building is currently being offered for sale. Since completion of the building in 1936, it's been in the care of one family. That has meant the charming original features of the building have remained largely unchanged. It's worthwhile mentioning the 9 units in the building represent genuine affordable housing. Next slide, please. To demonstrate the charm of 11A Dudley Street, a picture of one of the internal stairwells is shown now, and I point out the terrazzo flooring, the wooden balustrade, and the stained glass windows. Next slide, please. I mentioned before there are 9 units in the building, and to expand further on that, the accommodation provided in each unit is generous. There are 3 3-bedroom units to the Dudley Street front boundary with those beautiful balconies you saw earlier, another 3 3-bedroom units to the rear of the building, and 3 2-bedroom units in the middle, all with sunrooms to the north and enjoying views over Coogee Valley and the ocean. The internals of one unit, the living room and adjoining dining room in particular, are on the screen now, and you can see the lavish and original detailing provided, including window architraves, picture rails and ceiling beams. I tell you all this because 11A Dudley Street was clearly intended as large, stylish, family-sized accommodation, not for those who could live in a house and not for those who could afford to buy. But given the units have been in the rental market for 90 years, nevertheless, quality, spacious homes for those who have lived there. Next slide, please. For all these reasons relating to its historical, aesthetic and social significance, I consider 11A Dudley Street worthy of heritage investigation, and I urge you to support the motion. Thank you.
Are there any questions? There being no questions, thank you very much. We now move to NM 43/26, notice of motion from Councillor Martin, support for the naming of the Crayweed Forest at Coogee Yangar Forest, speaking for Claudia Santori, Operation Crayweed UNSW.
Hi, good evening, councillors. My name is Claudia, and I'm here on behalf of Operation Crayweed to seek council support for formally recognizing South Coogie's restored underwater forest as Yunga Forest. South Cougie is home to a wonderful underwater forest formed by golden kelp and crayweed. The crayweed is the seaweed on the top picture, and the golden kelp on the bottom picture, this beautiful broad golden leaves. These seaweeds are the marine equivalent of trees. They create structure, food, and shelter for many species, including crayfish and abalone, uncountable numbers of fish, and smaller invertebrates too. Next slide, please. Crayweed disappeared from Sydney in around the 1980s, likely due to water pollution at the time because of the antiquated sewer system. Although water quality later improved, crayweed did not naturally return, so we have a gap from Palm Beach all the way down to Cronulla. Operation Crayweed is an effort by the University of Sydney, UNSW, and the Sydney Institute of Marine Science with the goal of bringing crayweed back to Sydney where it once was thriving. Operation Crayweed began restoration in South Cougie in 2017. Today, South Cougie is one of our most successful restoration sites. It is one of only 6 locations where restored crayweed and golden kelp now grow side by side, enhancing the habitat and being ecologically significant. This makes it ecologically very, very important, but also a strong local story of recovery and stewardship, thanks to the community that has always backed us. As part of the Forests Without Names project, we worked with the community through a workshop and public vote to give a name to this unnamed place. A lot of underwater forests around the world go unnamed and therefore are outside the public's consciousness, and we wanted to change that here in South Cougie. The chosen name was Yunga Forest. Yunga is a Dharawal word for crayfish, a species associated with the crayweed habitat that we restored. The name therefore connects culture, ecology, and community effort. We are now seeking Randwick Council support for the proposed name Yunga Forest to help progress the application through the New South Wales Geographical Names Board. This would really strengthen our submission, as this is the first underwater forest that hopefully will get an official name in Australia. We also would like support for the installation of an interpretive signage at South Cougie to not only publicise this name, but also our restoration efforts. This really would increase the community awareness of the marine biodiversity, the importance of the underwater world, and also of South Coogie's community efforts to really bring it up out of the water and into public. This would really be a celebration of local restoration and ecological restoration. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of the speaker? Councillor Mark.
Thank you. Thank you, Claudia, for coming tonight and
Thank you.
giving us that presentation, and congratulations on the restoration. Tonight you're asking Council for a letter of support to attach to the application to the Geographical Names Board. What other groups or communities are also involved in this application?
Yeah, so we was lucky enough to get already support from Crown Lands, which is the land manager of the rocky reef where the forest grows. We also have support of the Gujaga Foundation, and we're waiting for a letter also from the Gamay Rangers.
Thank you. All right, the Gujar Foundation, for those, many of us probably don't know what that is or at home listening. Could you explain who that is?
Yeah, the Gujaga Foundation is the peak organization for anything related to language, culture, and research for the Aboriginal communities of La Perouse. And particularly, they are Darawal language experts who have helped us throughout the workshop process to make sure that we were using the correct words for the community consultation.
Thank you. Okay, and you've already mentioned that this is the first ever application to
Correct.
the board to name an underwater sea forest.
Yes.
So they've never been named before. If that application is unsuccessful with that board, what would you like council to still consider?
I'd like council to still consider us to support an interpretive signage installation so that even if underwater forests can't be named in New South Wales, it'll still be able to be an informal part of people's conversations, and it still would be able to become an official names amongst us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Councillor Veach.
Thank you very much.
No
It
worries.
sounds like such an amazing project, very, very exciting. I just wanted to ask one other question about the stakeholders that you consulted. Have you also consulted with the La Perouse Land Council?
Yes, so one of the biggest representative during the workshop was the Gamma Rangers, and the Gamma Rangers work very closely with La Perouse LAPA. The Land Council.
Thank you. Councillor Veach. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Are there any further questions? Sorry, there is one further question from Councillor Burst. Councillor Burst.
No, I'll keep it simple.
No.
Claudia, congratulations on this project. I can
Thank you.
see why it's a success. Your passion and enthusiasm is obvious to all of us. So thank you very much. And have we found, have we physically seen more crayfish around that forest area?
I can't say there is more crayfish. We haven't surveyed yet. So ecological restoration is a very, very long process. Last time we counted 300 crayweed individuals. So, of course, it's been a few years. We went from 0 crayweed to over 300. So I think that's a fantastic win. The biodiversity associated with the forest will take time to fully recover, but that's the next step. We have a PhD student looking at the numbers of Babylonian crayfish in our restored forest. So hopefully we'll have the good news hopefully very soon. No worries.
Any further questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. There being no further business as part of the public forum, I now close the public forum. Thank you. Can I just confirm, do you require a minute or two just to transition? We're good to go? All right, thank you. Thank you, councillors. I now open the ordinary council meeting on the 26th of May 2026 at 7:07 p.m. Could I please have Councillor Gordon read the acknowledgement of country?
I would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the land of the Bidjigal and the Gadigal peoples who occupied the Sydney coast, being the traditional owners. On behalf of Randwick City Council, I acknowledge and pay my respect to the elders past and present and to Aboriginal people in attendance today.
Thank you. Councillor Martin, the prayer.
Thank you. Almighty God, we humbly beseech you to bestow your blessings upon this council and to direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement of your glory and the true welfare of the people of the city of Randwick and Australia.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. I now go... you have seen that. Thank you. I now go back to the chairperson's announcement. Sorry, 1 second. In accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice, I advise that this meeting is being live streamed via Council's website and a person's image and or voice may be broadcast. This live stream recording will be published on Council's website for the period of 12 months after the meeting or for the balance of Council's term, whichever is the longer of the period. Attendance at the meeting is taken as consent of the person to their image and or voice being live streamed. All present should refrain from making any defamatory comments or releasing any personal information about another individual without their consent. Council accepts no liability for any damage that may result from defamatory comments made by persons attending this meeting. All liability rests with the individual who made the comments. This meeting must not be live streamed or recorded by others without the prior written consent of Council. Individuals acting in a disorderly manner can be asked by the chairperson to leave the meeting. Thank you. Do we have any apologies or granting of leaves of absence? No. Requests to attend the meeting by audio-visual link, moved by Councillor Hay and Councillor Gordon. We have Councillors Luxford and Wellington who are attending via AV link on the basis of sickness. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. Can I please have somebody move the confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary council meeting on the 28th of April 2026? Thank you. Moved Councillor Martin, seconded Councillor Rosenfeld. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. Do we have any declarations of interest? Councillor Rosenfeld.
Okay, on behalf of all 5 Liberal councillors on CP 1126, the junior clubs allow us to have Liberal Party branch meetings at no cost. So it's a non-significant, non-pecuniary interest, and I've sent that through to you, David. Thank you.
Thank you. In relation to CP 11/26, I am the secretary of the Maroubra branch of the ALP, which meets in the juniors Maroubra, free of charge as per all other community organisations and clubs, including sporting clubs. It is a non-significant, non-pecuniary interest, and I will be participating in the matter. In relation to CP 12/26, Randwick Junction planning proposal, several of the directors of the Randwick Club group of clubs are known to me via my association in the Labor Party. It is a non-significant, non-pecuniary interest. I will be voting on the matter. I'm happy to make that declaration on behalf of all ALP. Has it been sold? Has it? Been sold. Yeah. Okay. Well, then it is no longer required. All right. Okay, thank you. Are there any further declarations? Councillor Gordon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just on the basis of the juniors, I am the Assistant Secretary of the Maroubra SEC of the ALP, so under the same basis, I declare that interest.
I'll just add my bit to that too, Mr. Mayor. So CP 11/26, non-significant, non-pecuniary. I actually am, we hold our branch meetings at the juniors at Malabar. Our ALP meetings, as well as other functions I attend there by other non-for-profit groups. I just want to, and I am a member of the club as well.
Thank you. Are there any further declarations? There being no further declarations, we'll now move to the first item, mayoral minutes, MM 15/26, investigation into the live site for the Netball World Cup 2027. Councillors, I take the mayoral minute as read. Are there any further speakers? Councillor Martin.
Thank you. I would like to speak in support of this mayoral minute also. Randwick has an incredible, strong netball community, and Heffron Park has become a premier netball destination in New South Wales. With thousands of girls and women and families and volunteers involved in this sport each week. It makes perfect sense for Randwick to be a part of this excitement surrounding the 2027 Netball World Cup. A live site would not only bring the World Cup experience directly to our community, but also create opportunities for local businesses, inspire the next generation of players, and further strengthen women's sport across our city. I look forward to the feasibility work come back to council. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, I'll now put it. All those in favour? Aye. All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We have MM16/26, financial assistance and donations. I take the mayoral minute as read. There being no further speakers, I'll now put it. All those in favour? All those against? Declare it carried. Thank you. Councillors, is there any, additional mayoral minutes, MM17/26, which is in the supplementary paper. It is, just for those who may not have seen it, it is the waiver of fees for the road closure application for $200 for the annual green fare for the Clovelly Childcare Centre. I take the mayoral minute as read. Is there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, I'll now put it. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Councillors, is there any urgent business? There being no urgent business, we now move to items on the business paper, starting with city planning report. We'll now go in seriam. Thank you. Do I have anyone challenge CP11/26 financial support for 6 local community organisations to install solar panels and batteries? Challenged by Councillor D'Souza. CP12/26, a record of voting is required. Challenged by Councillor Martin. CP13/26, supporting residents in the vicinity of the development with infill affordable housing, Botany and Waller Street, Kingsford. It needs to be challenged.
Challenge.
Oh, sorry.
Record of voting required. I challenge, yeah.
Yep, thank you.
Challenge.
Sorry. Yes, sorry. Just for the benefit of the meeting, the General Manager did say that Councillor Luxford was actually gesticulating. Councillors, for those who are online, please call out with your microphone off, just because from where you are, it's very hard for me to actually see you. So please feel free to call out. Thank you. Challenged by Councillor Luxford. Okay, CP14/26, Resilient Randwick, challenged by Councillor Veach. CP15/26, Variations to Development Standards under Clause 4.6, 1st of April to the 30th of April 2026. Unchallenged. Thank you. CS, Director of City Services reports, naming of Randwick's roads, reserves and facilities policy. Challenged by Councillor Veach. CS 23/26, shared bike e-book, challenged by Councillor Martin. CC 8/26, investigation into the temporary location for a men's shed in Randwick, challenged by Councillor Escari. CC 9/26, draft La Perouse Museum strategic plan and updated collection policy, unchallenged. Thank you. CC 10/26, community halls and venues, new fees and hire charges, and update on facility improvements. Challenged by Councillor Veach. CC 11/26, challenged by Councillor Martin. CO 17/26, monthly financial report, April 26. Unchallenged. CO 18/26, quarterly budget review. Thank you. CO 19/26, monthly investment report, April 26, unchallenged. CO 20/26, 2025 to 26, quarterly progress report, unchallenged. CO 21/26, 2026, National General Assembly of Local Government, unchallenged. Thank you. Can I please have somebody move the unchallenged items? Move Councillor Gordon, seconded Councillor Said. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Okay, we go to the first challenged item, CP 11/26, challenged by Councillor D'Souza. Councillor D'Souza. Seconded by Councillor Escari.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Climate change, friends, is real. We've seen and felt the effects of climate change. The heavy rains, the drought, the landslides, the tsunamis, cyclones, and other unexplained catastrophic climatic events. These are all confirmation that our climate is changing. Decreasing our carbon footprint is so important. Today, the giant chimneys at the coal-fired Liddell Power Station came down. This was a clear message that we are transitioning to new forms of renewable energy. I strongly support this planning report. The 6 recipients of council funding for installation of solar panels and batteries are not only worthy recipients, but by their example, they will inspire other community groups to follow in their footsteps. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Asghari.
I reserve my right.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? Councillor Veitch.
Thank you. I would just like to move to amend to remove the juniors at Malabar and the juniors at Maroubra. It's a great, this whole program is a fantastic initiative. It will be wonderful to get solar and batteries at these, for these different groups. However, given the incredibly strong concern in the community about the harmful impacts of poker machines and gaming, I think it is not appropriate for council to be providing funding to these 2 organisations. I believe that the revenue and the income that they do receive should be more than sufficient for them to pay for the installation of their own renewable energy infrastructure. I don't think that is the role of council.
Thank you. Councillor Wellington is the seconder.
Yep.
Councillor Wellington, do you wish to speak to it?
No, I don't think I have anything to add to Councillor Veitch's comments. So I think the point is that we are in opposition to the questionable raising of funds through gaming. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers on the amendment? There being no further speakers on the amendment, I'll now put the amendment. All those in favour say aye. Aye. All those against? No. I declare the amendment lost. Thank you. Okay, we now return back to the debate on the motion. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, Councillor De Souza, do you wish to close the debate?
That's fine, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All right, we'll now put it. All those in favour? Aye. All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We now move to CP 12/26, Randwick Junction Planning Proposal Post-Exhibition Report. Challenged by Councillor Martin. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm moving it according to the business paper, just with one small amendment, which Mr Kelly has. And that was to add H to the list. And that is to ensure the Margaret Martin Library is incorporated as a central civic and community feature within any future planning and design considerations for the Randwick Junction Town Centre Precinct.
Thank you. Seconded Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Martin, would you like to speak to it?
Thank you. Just shortly. I mean, this is obviously a very personal to me, as my mother was Margaret Martin, or is Margaret Martin, and of course Randwick's first Lady Mayor. But beyond that, the library stands as an important part of Randwick's civic history and community identity. The library continues to serve residents every single day. They do such a great job in both our libraries as a place of learning, connection and community engagement. As Council looks to the future of Randwick Junction, I believe it's important that this significant civic asset is properly recognised, integrated and enhanced within the broader precinct vision. This amendment just simply ensures the Margaret Martin Library remains part of the heart of Randwick into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Veitch. Sorry, my apologies, Councillor Hamilton. Okay, thank you. Councillor Veitch.
Thank you. I would like to move some amendments also. So I have a number of dot points that I would like to move. One is to support the phasing out of new natural gas connections and encourage electrification within these new buildings. to include the full monetary contribution table from the feasibility report in the DCP, including the affordable floor area per metre rate in addition to the block per metre rate. And to amend the monetary contribution indexation to the highest as opposed to the median strata dwelling place. So, councillors, you may have seen reading the report that there is, there's three, where a developer is not willing or able to include on-site affordable housing, and will be making a monetary contribution instead. Three figures have been provided for that in relation to the three sites 1, 2 and 3. And then the index, which is a fantastic thing to roughly whatever the going rate is at the time. However, that is the median strata dwelling place, which applies to the entire LGA. This site at the Randwick Town Centre is likely to be one of the highest value sites in the LGA, given its proximity to the beaches, to the light rail, to Centennial Park, schools. It's got everything going for it. It will have incredible views. So I think we should be going for something higher. In addition, councillors may be aware that City of Sydney just last week were successful in getting a 20% affordable housing contribution on their uplift capture, which is the increase, just on the increased areas. Now, again, considering the incredible amenity of this area at the Randwick Town Junction for all of the reasons I just mentioned, we should be aiming a little bit higher, and we already have City of Sydney right on our doorstep getting 20%. We need to try a bit harder, I think. And this is, I would really also like to congratulate and thank all of the planning staff for all of the work that they have put into this proposal. It is to be commended, and we're just trying to push a little bit harder. So I would personally like to thank them for all of their work. I would like to try and retain the through-site links and mid-block connections that were in the DCP, and I also had a note about the Margaret Martin Library, and I would be willing to incorporate Councillor Martin, change that for Councillor Martin's one, although I would note that we should be also trying to get a little bit more space, given that there is some kind of formula for library floor space footprints that relates to population size. And so given that our population will significantly increase, and since the original library was made, that we could perhaps be going for a bigger floor space. So I hope you will consider accepting the amendments. Thank you.
And I'll second them.
Thank you. As the seconder, Councillor Willington, and then...
Yes,
thank you. And then I'll go to Councillor Asghari, and then I'll go to Councillor Hay.
Yep.
Councillor Willington.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to express my thanks to the planning department staff. It's an absolutely fantastic piece of work, and it is ongoing, and the amount of work to come as this progresses through.
Councillor Willington, you're on mute.
Oh, did you get any of that?
I might suggest you
start again. I must have clicked something.
If possible.
Not again, okay. Just to say, I support Councillor Veitch's amendments. Also like to express my thanks to the staff on this huge piece of work, which will lead to other enormous pieces of work. It is no reflection on the report that we seek to try to increase the amount of affordable housing. It is really important that we seize every opportunity to do that. And if City of Sydney were able to manage it, then I think we should follow their lead if we can. Also, in recognising the increase of population and the pressure on services, I think that it's very important that we try to get, as Councillor Veitch mentioned, as much accommodation, as much space as possible for the Margaret Martin Library. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Asghari. Then I'll go to Councillor Hay. Then I'll go to Councillor Rosenfeld. Councillor Hay on the amendment. And then
So I'll talk firstly to points B, C, and D. Now, the main problem we've been having as a council lately is the way that the Housing Delivery Authority has been interfering with our planning controls, and how a lot of developers have been taking things to state significant development. And because the reason they do that is because the state government is willing to offer them better terms. Now, we've actually been through quite a lot of changes to the Randwick Junction Town Centre Master Plan. The reality is, if we're offering the same affordable housing uplift rate, we're offering the same monetary contribution, we're offering the same monetary contributions, there is no reason for a developer to go through the state significant development process. They can come to Randwick City Council and get a DA. Our town planners can look at the proposal and we can control the decision in-house, and we can make a decision locally that affects our local character. If we start demanding, oh, you give us 20% local housing, they're just going to go straight to the federal government, straight to the New South Wales government and apply for state significant development. Unfortunately, we are not City of Sydney, we are not governed by the City of Sydney Act, we are the Local Government Act, we only have so many powers, and we must offer terms that are competitive with who are effectively our competitors, the state significant development of the state government. Just quickly, point A, we've talked about gas numerous times at this council, so I'll just repeat that we don't need to make developments more expensive. Frankly, if you give people the choice and the option of electrification or gas heating, that enables people to save money and give people a choice. Point F is effectively a repeat of Councillor Martin's point H. And point E, I don't exactly understand. We're voting through a new DCP, so I don't quite understand why we're voting through site links and mid-blocks connections in DCP while we're passing the DCP. Anyway, I urge everyone to vote against this amendment.
thank you. Before I go to Councillor Rosenfeld, I'm going to go to Councillor Martin. Councillor Martin, do you accept the amendment?
No, I don't.
Didn't think so. Councillor Rosenfeld.
Yeah, I just want to talk against point A. As I've said before, we can't transition to renewables by abandoning gas. Our government, and I supported the government, even it's Labor government, even offered gas to foreign countries recently with the Middle East conflict in order to get fuel shipments in. So they actually traded off our gas to these countries who want our gas in order to get fuel in. So gas is an important commodity, and we really need to keep using gas while we are transitioning gradually to renewables. In addition, we've got to think of all the restaurants, the great new restaurants that we're going to have in Randwick Junction, and I don't want them to be disadvantaged, and none of you guys probably want them to be disadvantaged by not having gas for their cooking. So point A, Councillor Hayes covered the other points really well, but point A, and you know that I'm passionate about this, so I really wanted to talk about it. I 100% can't support it.
Thank you. Councillor Gordon.
Look, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Because many people have stated here already, the position is inconsistent with Council's previous stated position on gas connections. But more importantly, I think regarding the setting of the monetary contribution and the affordable housing rates, I think we've received a pretty clear message from the viability assessment that is included in this current proposal on the table, that we have set what can be built and what should be built. And if we increase the affordable housing uplift as much as I support the idea of affordable housing as much as we can get it, if we just increase it on an arbitrary basis without undergoing any kind of investigation, then we risk not getting anything built at all. We also risk the department intervention on the basis that it is not consistent with the stated goals of improving housing supply. So unfortunately, I cannot support Councillor Beech's amendment.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers on the amendment? Councillor Magna.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I want to start by acknowledging the tremendous amount of work that the council officers have done in this incredible planning document. Years of work, the 3D modelling, the feasibility testing and all the community engagement over many years has produced something that I think is incredibly valuable for this council to consider, and I read it with great interest and delight. I'm supporting the amendment. I'm also supporting the motion in an amended fashion. I think it's important that this piece of work is approved by this council so that we can commence the important work of delivering on affordable housing and giving our community the certainty that it needs. We had a very articulate young speaker address us earlier today, and I think that we have a big duty to do everything we can in our power to deliver more affordable housing for the teachers, for the nurses and for the essential services workers that help our local community. I acknowledge that we've got 62 affordable dwellings, but among the 800 new homes, that's only 7.75%. Our own strategy aspires for 10%, while 20% is an ambitious target. Its ambition should be rewarded, and it should be something that this council aspires to. Similarly, natural gas is a fossil fuel. The sooner we grasp the nettle and we begin the phase out, the better. Other councils have managed to do that. This council should also be a leader. Our community expects us to be a leader on environmental sustainability. As Mr D'Souza said earlier, climate change is real. There's a heat dome at the moment. It's gone silent for a while, but this issue is a big one and local councils have an important part. I also think that the site links and the mid-lock connections was something that I was particularly excited to see in the earlier version of this planning proposal, and it's one that I was disappointed to see amended. Randwick Junction will be shaped by this for generations. There's a number of heritage controls, the affordable housing rates, the design requirements, I think are ones that we can be happy with. And I think as much as this council can be engaged in this process, the more control and influence we have as a council, and that's the responsibility that we were elected to engage in. And I therefore commend the council paper as amended by Councillor Martin and the amendment from Councillor Beech and Councillor Wellington to my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sitt.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and I just have a question for the appropriate officer. With this, aspiration is a good thing, but we've been planning this on and off for probably 2 terms of while I've been on council. In her opinion, would this more than likely be achievable, unachievable, just add to the delay, or will we be totally overridden by state significance?
Through to the acting director.
Through you, Mr Mayor. Yes, the affordable housing rates, if as amended, would be unachievable because the affordable housing rates were based on expert consultancy investigations and modelling.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, just before I throw to put this to a vote, can I just confirm through to the Acting Director of Planning, in relation to point B, include the full monetary contribution table from the feasibility report in the DCP. Is the DCP, in your view, the correct document, or is it the Affordable Housing Plan?
Through you, Mr Mayor, it is the Affordable Housing Plan, not the DCP, that should be referenced.
Okay. In light of that, do you wish to change that? Thank you. All right, Mr Kelly. Thank you. I'll now put the amendment. Are there all those? Actually, it being a planning matter, we'll need to go to a vote. All those in favour of the amendment, please raise your hand. We have councillors Willington, Magna, Veach, Asgari, D'Souza and the Mayor. All those against, we have councillors Hamilton, Hay, Gordon, Rosenfeld, Martin, Wilson, Said and Burst. I declare the and Luxford, my apologies. Thank you. I declare the amendment lost. Thank you. We now move back to the original motion. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, Councillor Martin, do you wish to close the debate? Okay, thank you. We'll now put it. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Yes, yeah. Okay, we have councillors Hamilton, Magna, Veach, Hay, Gordon, Rosenfeld, Martin, Asgari, Wilson, Said, Burst, D'Souza and Willington. All those against. We have Councillor Luxford and the Mayor. Thank you. I declare that carried. Thank you. We now move to the next item, CP 13/26, supporting residents in the vicinity of the development and with infill affordable housing. Challenged by Councillor Luxford, seconded by Councillor Hay. Councillor Luxford, could you please outline what it is you're moving? You're on mute.
I'm just moving as per the business paper.
Thank you. I take it you don't wish to talk? Thank you.
Can I please?
Of course.
Sorry, just to thank the council officers and to ensure continued support for our residents.
Thank you. Councillor Hayes, the seconder.
Just quickly, I'd like to thank for preparing this, and I look forward to seeing what the submission is when we end up making it. Thank you.
Thank you. Did I see a hand up from Councillor Willington? No. Okay. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, I'll now put it. A record of voting is required. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Okay, I declare that unanimous. Thank you. We now move to CP 14/26, Resilient Randwick Strategy 26 to 36 Post-Exhibition Report, challenged by Councillor Veach.
Thank you. I'll be moving as per the business papers, but with a very slight amendment. And as the chair of the Resilience Committee, I would very much like to thank all of the staff and committee members and also community members who have put in, a huge amount of effort in working on this report. It's been a real collaboration. We've had some expert speakers, we've had expert community members give their input, and of course the staff, Cara Taylor, Leonie and others who've done an incredible job. My small, and which will, I really hope and we all hope will help ensure that Randwick is prepared for, any future disasters that we may encounter. The small amendment that I have is to the list of shocks and stresses noted under Goal 16 for strengthen emergency governance and preparedness is to add toxic chemical leaks. And this was something that we discussed a number of times at the committee, but it somehow, I think, possibly inadvertently got left out. And so I would like to move it with that being as one of the issues that we should be prepared for given our proximity to Orica and the airport and port.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor.
I'll support.
Did you have an amendment?
I've got seconded by Councillor Said. Councillor Said, do you wish to speak to it?
I'd just like to thank the council officers for the report. I'd like to thank the people who did put in their submissions, and I'd like to thank Councillor Veach for adding Part C.
Thank you. Councillor Willington? Thank you. Councillor Hay, and then I'll go to Councillor Magna.
Yeah, so in addition, I'd also like to think this is dramatically improved over the draft version with the inclusion of the threat of bushfire and the threat of flood being taken, given much more prominence and given appropriate treatment. So I'd like to thank people for those changes, and let's all vote this through. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Magna.
I have an amendment to the business paper resolution. I've just sent that through, if it hasn't been sent already, to Mr. Kelly. I've sent it via text.
How about you read it?
The amendment is as follows: to add a recommendation at the end of the existing paragraph B, with an annual progress report on the implementation of strategic actions in the Resilient Randwick Strategy 2026 to 2036 to be presented to Council.
Thank you.
Happy to accept.
Councillor
I'd like to second that.
Councillor Veach has accepted it. Mr. Kelly, you've now been emailed it. Thank you. Are there any further speakers on the motion as amended? There being no further speakers, Councillor Veach, would you like to close the debate? All right, we'll now put it. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We now move to CS 22/26, naming of Randwick's roads, reserves and facilities policy, outcomes of community consultation, challenged by Councillor Veach.
Thank you. I'd like to move with a very small amendment. Well, not a small amendment. Which is as per the business papers, but with the addition. I'll just wait for Mr. Kelly to get the amendment up. And in response to a number of the submissions that came in to this, that we give priority to Aboriginal names and names recognising women and members of the First Nations and multicultural community. This is all noted in there, but it's just an additional dot point as something for consideration. I noticed when we've had new names being reported to Council, for example, on the new sections of the Newmarket development, that they have often been Aboriginal names that have been recommended by the Lafaris Land Council. And, you know, I think it's appropriate that we continue to do that, and also, where possible, get more names of our local roads and places named after women, and more members of our diverse Randwick community. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Asghari. Thank you. Councillor Asghari, do you wish to speak to it?
Oh, I reserve my right.
Thank you. Councillor Wellington, do you wish to speak to it? Are there any further speakers on the motion as amended? There being no further speakers, I'll now put it. All those in favour? All those against? Declare it carried. Thank you. Alrighty. We now move to CS 23/26, shared e-bike designated parking treatments. Moved by Councillor Martin. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Magna. Councillor Martin.
Thank you. I'd like to move it as per the business paper. I'd like to congratulate the council on their report back, and I'm looking forward to these structures being placed as soon as possible. My question is to the relevant officer today around the actual planting of the plants that we planted in the planters. Who would that be?
I'm going to throw that to the Director of City Service.
Sorry. Yep, sorry, it's you. Yeah, thank you. By looking closely at the photos, I can see just greenery in the plant. So the photos on page 88, you've got close up, we've just got greenery plants, and I was wondering whether some bright coloured flowers could be considered also.
Through to the Director of City Services.
Thank you. Through yourself, Mr. Mayor, it's something we can definitely consider.
Thank you. I'd like to move a small amendment then, please, adding D to the recommendation. Mr. Kelly has that. The council
You're going to do it in line with the technical guidelines?
flowering plants where appropriate, rather than solely green plantings within the fabricated planter boxes to improve the visual appeal and streetscape activation in key locations such as Coogee.
Thank you. Councillor Martin, with your indulgence, I'm more than sure that it would be accommodated with what the intent of your request is. Would you mind adding the words in line with the technical guidelines for urban planting?
Not a problem.
Thank you. There are lots of bright, colourful flowers there. It just makes it consistent. Thank you. Are there... Councillor Magner is the seconder? Sorry, do you wish to continue to speak? Sorry, my apologies.
Thank you. When I picture Coogee, I picture a bright, vibrant and colourful beachside village. If these planter boxes are going to become part of our streetscape, then I think we can add to the character and atmosphere of Coogee, Maroubra or Randwick, if we choose, by including some bright, colourful flowers instead of just greenery. Including bright flowering plants could soften the look of these infrastructures, improve the visual appeal and help activate our public spaces in a much more welcoming way. Small details like this can make a real difference to how our streets feel for residents, visitors and local businesses. I understand the planting of bright flowers may not be appropriate in all locations, but I'd just really like Council to investigate some inclusion if possible. Thank you.
Councillor Magner is the seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The e-bike, share e-bike debate has been an ongoing challenge for local councils. On the one hand, we've got supporters of sustainable transport and accessibility, the reduction of motor vehicle trips, they're convenient, they're accessible. But on the other hand, we've got cluttered footpaths and we've got people that find them obscuring the footpaths and they're a trip hazard. And in the middle of that debate, we've got local council. We're the ones that are left with the responsibility, and under the current frameworks, we've got very limited powers to prevent operators entering our area, and we bear the cost of enforcement and the infrastructure and the complaint management. And the tension is one that we've all felt and we've all experienced as local councillors. I think that finally we've had the leadership that we've been craving from the New South Wales State Government in setting up a framework. The 80 cent per trip fee that Transport for New South Wales has set isn't fair, giving us only 20 cents for the burden that local government carries for ranges, for infrastructure, for the complaints, for the enforcement, is not a meaningful and sustainable model, and we endorsed on the last council meeting a submission to make our views known to the state government. On the other hand, the broader picture is that overseas e-bikes in different locations have been proven to be a successful part of an active transport model, and the key ingredient is active engagement with the operators, thoughtful placement of infrastructure, cooperation with governments, designated parking that's visible, convenient, and enforcement of the requirements. And I think this report does exactly that. I think that the planter boxes and the tiered approach with stencils in some places, $13,000 planter boxes with a physical definition in others. We're not gold plating it. We might be flower plating it in some senses. But what I thought needed to be called out is that we're also carrying the artwork of Shane Youngberry, who's commissioned under the Council's Aboriginal Reconciliation Action Plan. So this is a piece of public infrastructure that actually carries cultural recognition as a permanent piece of public infrastructure and recognition. And that's the type of council that I want to be a part of, that recognises the part of our Indigenous heritage and our Indigenous culture and integrates it into active transport infrastructure. That's something that I feel that the council officers should be commended for, and we can all be very proud of. So thank you to everyone for cooperating, and I think we have done the responsible thing as a council in responding to the guidance that was provided by the state government, pushing back where we think it's unfair, but getting on with the job of providing the infrastructure that our community expects us to, and I commend the motion.
Thank you. Councillor Sid.
Mr Mayor, a question to the relevant officer. As I'm just looking at this picture, I know it's probably only indicative, but I assume that the businesses that are directly opposite where this is on Coogee Bay Road would not appreciate that being there. If none of the businesses on Coogee Bay Road really want to give up their parking spots, is it more than likely we'll just put it at the beach, or it can't go on the beach? Is there a reason why it's not at the beach?
Through to the Director of City Services.
Thank you. Through yourself, Mr Mayor, the 100 locations that we have identified to support the scheme is currently on consultation. We're getting feedback for each location. We have tried, we have on-street locations to put them in areas where there is existing no parking to try and reduce any parking loss where practical. And the second option was then to go to off-street. So there is a hierarchy in trying to mitigate the impact of the community.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, Councillor Martin, do you wish to close the debate? Okay, we'll now put it. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We now move to CC8/26, investigation into a temporary location for a men's shed in Randwick, moved by Councillor Asghari, seconded by Councillor D'Souza.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move it according to the business paper, and I also like to firstly thank council staff for comprehensive report and the work undertaken to investigate the sites identified by council. I appreciate the effort that has gone into this work and the clear understanding it provides of the challenges involved. However, while it's disappointing that none of the 4 sites investigated were found to meet planning control or the operational requirements of the men's shed, I do not believe that should mark the end of the search. The report tells us that 4 sites were unsuitable. It does not tell us that no suitable site exists. We have already heard about the important role the Waverley Community Men's Shed play in supporting social connection, well-being, and community engagement. Tonight, I want to focus on the practical issue before us. The reality is that this organization needs a home. Without suitable accommodation, the future of Men's Shed remains uncertain, and that uncertainty affects its members and its ability to plan ahead. With the Men's Shed required to vacate its current premises in early 2027, time is becoming a critical factor. We need to continue exploring alternative opportunities, both within our own assets and through partnership with neighboring councils, community organizations, and other levels of government. I welcome Council's commitment to pursuing a permanent men's shed facility at the former SES site on Botany Road. However, that project will not be completed before the current premises must be vacated. That means that finding a temporary solution remains an urgent priority. While finding suitable community space is never easy, I believe it is important that we do everything reasonably possible to identify both a temporary solution and, more importantly, a permanent home for the men's shed. I urge Council not to treat this as simply an accommodation issue, but as an opportunity to secure the long-term future of an organization that has made a meaningful contribution to our community. I also appreciate that Men's Shed has updated its constitution to allow women to become members. I have received quite a few emails from local female residents who welcome this positive change and have encouraged Randwick City Council to take advantage of this opportunity to support ready-made, well-structured, and expanding initiative, which supports community connection, sustainability, and would be great contribution to Randwick City Council resilience strategy. The members of the Men's Shed have done their part by building a successful and valuable community organization. Now it's up to us to do our part and find them a home. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor D'Souza.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Azagari. Now, a men's shed isn't just, as it sounds, a shed where men do handiwork or learn to deal with, make wooden items, etc. It's also a place where art and culture is explored. It's also a place where friends get together, where mateship is also encouraged. So when the Waverley Men's Shed had, they were doing particularly well, but they've now been evicted from their premises. So it's so important for them to find a new home because, as I said, men should play an important role where men can sit and talk. And we all know how important it is, especially if you've lost your partner or if you've lost, or the average age for men's sheds is 69 years. So we're talking about retired people. They need mateships. They need friendships. They need to be included. And that's what men's sheds allows us to do. So I did read the report and I was sad we didn't find a place yet, but we've offered, you see, where there's despair, there's always hope. And the important thing is the council said in 2027, there may be an opportunity where the SES headquarters or where we're going to build them a home, there may be an opportunity to incorporate or do something for the men's shed. So that's what this council is all about, hope. And it's saying, yes, we'll do it. But keeping in mind what Councillor Azagari has said and what I've read, it's an important and integral part of men ageing, retired men getting together to get good outcomes for themselves and their families. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Veach.
Thank you very much, and I would like to speak in support of Councillor Asghari and also Councillor D'Souza. They've made some very important points. Look, the people at the Men's Shed have worked really hard over the years to build this up. They've amended their constitution so it will be open to people of all genders. And also they are very, very keen to just ensure that this can continue. And Randwick LGA is not small. There must be somewhere that we can find to, you know, allow some kind of little workshop for a couple of years until the new one is built. It just does not seem like an insurmountable obstacle. I note that council staff are looking to continue working. I would like to see another report come back. I think we shouldn't give up on this, and I think we should be aiming to try and find some kind of solution. It cannot, there must be somewhere in our LGA where we can, at least for a couple of years, even if it is not of the size that they have asked for, it might be something considerably smaller, but it would be something. So I hope we can keep working to find a solution to this. Thank you.
Councillor Asghari, do you wish to close the debate? Okay, we'll now put it. All those in favour? Aye. All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We now move to CO 10/26, Community Halls and Venues, New Fees and Charges and Update on Facility Improvements, challenged by Councillor Veach. Could you please outline what is your moving?
I am moving as per the recommendation on the
Thank
business
you. Do I have a
papers.
seconder? Seconded by Councillor Escaro.
This is an issue very close to my heart. I believe that our community deserves access to our wonderful indoor spaces, our community halls and community centres. There are many people, for various reasons, who want access to indoor facilities, either for free or at least at an affordable rate. And council staff have been working over the last couple of years to try and find ways to reduce these fees. And so I don't think we're all the way yet, but there's certainly been significant steps made. And I note that community can also apply for fee waivers as well, and I hope that is something we can promote. I also commend the introduction of free use of the halls for those off-peak times in the middle of the day, and particularly the significant reductions to Randwick Town Hall. And I'd also like to note the contribution of former councillor Pandolfini, who worked very hard to ensure that the town hall was activated and made affordable, and we've seen some wonderful activations in that space, and I hope we continue to do so. So I commend the motion and I thank staff for your work. Thank you.
Councillor Asghari is the seconder.
I reserve my right.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? Councillor Sid.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've just got a question for the relevant officer. Mainly, there's only really a few that actually were increased in price, and two of those were the Matraville Youth and Community Centre and also the Malabar Library. Is there any chance, I can understand that the fees go up, but can we grandfather the existing people? Is there a possibility that the existing users can be grandfathered so they stay at the same rate rather than go to the increased rate?
Through to the Director of Community and Culture.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. At this stage, we have not recommended grandfathering those particular users, and the reason is that to simplify the fees, we needed to streamline them into categories, as you can see. To do that, we also considered benchmarking amongst similar venues, and so that's the reason for the increase and why we're not recommending grandfathering.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, Councillor Veitch, do you wish to close the debate? I'll now put it. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. We now move to CC 11/26, Coogee Winter Nights event proposal for and approval for temporary suspension of the alcohol-free zone. Challenged by Councillor Martin, seconded by Councillor Magna.
No.
I saw Councillor Magna. I'm sure he was pretty quick. Councillor Martin.
I'd like to move it as per the business paper, thank you. And I want to congratulate the council staff on what's an excellent report summarising the enormous success of Coogee Nights program. The Summer Nights activation brought real energy and joy to our community. It supported our local small business, created a wonderful atmosphere along Coogee Bay Road, and gave residents and visitors an opportunity to come together and enjoy a beautiful village atmosphere under the lights. I'm also very pleased to see the recommendation to proceed with a one-off Coogee Nights event, following the notice of motion I brought forward to Council last month. I certainly feel a real sense of pride seeing that motion now progress into a proposed winter activation for Coogee. I think a winter-themed activation will bring a completely different feel and charm to the festival, a beautiful midwinter atmosphere, and another opportunity for the community to reconnect during the quieter months. Importantly, winter activations can provide a real boost for the local community and the nighttime economy at a time when a trade is traditionally slower and support is very much needed. I also think trialling a winter night gives council an opportunity to explore future dates and formats for a Coogee Nights program moving forward.
congratulations again to the staff, the local businesses, the Chamber of Commerce and everyone involved in making Coogee Nights such a success, and I look forward to supporting this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Magna is the seconder. Thank you. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, we'll now put it. All those in favour? Those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We now move to NM 37/26, notice of motion from Councillor Rosenfeld, free overflow parking for nippers at Broad Arrow Reserve. Moved Councillor Rosenfeld, seconded by Councillor Burst.
Okay, well, as we've seen, fellow councillors, in our correspondence, especially the email correspondence recently, there's a lot of negativity about the parking meter proposal. I can't believe how many times my phone keeps beeping. In fact, I had to put, but basically, was searching for other emails other than the anti-parking meter emails, because there were so many anti-parking meter emails in my inbox. So it was, but basically, you can see there's huge concern in the community about it. So I have a solution, and it's not a new solution, but it's something I brought up in February and November, that the nippers always have difficulty parking in nipper season, and we opened Broad Arrow Reserve just for 3 hours, just for the I believe it's 17 days of the 17 Sundays of the nipper season, just for 3 hours from 7 to 10. It is widely supported by the community. After the vote lost, there was some social media afterwards, and we received quite a large amount of interaction from the community that they really wanted to see nipper parking go ahead. So it's obviously parking is an issue at Maroubra. People don't want parking meters. This is an option for particularly for the, specifically, let me say, for the nipper program, which is an issue down there. The surf clubs support it, Maroubra and South Maroubra. So here's another opportunity to resolve that particular issue, as far as a very popular period of residents going down to Maroubra Beach and allow Broad Arrow Reserve to be used for that short period.
Thank you. Before I go to the seconder, I'd just like to make a non-significant, non-pecuniary interest. Councillor Rosenfeld referenced one surf club of which I am a volunteer patrolling member, Maroubra Surf Lifesaving Club. I will be participating in the matter. Thank you. Councillor Burst.
Yes. Why is this motion so important? There's over 2,400 nippers attending nipper programs across Maroubra and South Maroubra surf clubs. But unfortunately, those numbers are down because they're unable to find parking. The nippers program is down by 200 to 300 nippers. But it's the highest cohort of nippers across Australia. It's something we should be proud of. Nippers learn key skills about water safety, teamwork, first aid, community-minded, and are the future members of these surf clubs. Remembering that only recently, the council here voted to rebuild Maroubra Surf Club. Now, where's their members' growth going to come if we're going to be reducing nippers' numbers, because we're not going to get there? Now, this overflow, this free overflow for nippers would be between 7 to 10 on 17 Sundays a year. There is an absolute tsunami of activity at this time. Major traffic congestion, simply no parking spaces. With nippers parking streets away, even heading up towards Anzac Parade. Our mayor, a member of Maroubra Surf Club, has twice voted against his own surf club and the free nippers program overflow parking. Hopefully it's not 3 strikes and you're out. To the Greens, Councillor Veach, Councillor Whittington and Councillor Asghari. In March 26, business paper CS 13/26, the Greens proposed an amendment that included informal on-grass parking on game day. So you're supporting parking on grass areas for a rugby league and cricket at Snake Park, but discriminating against free nippers parking on a grass area at Broad Arrow Reserve. I just don't get it. And then to Councillor D'Souza, who previously twice has voted against the nipper parking program, claims to stand for social injustice policies, equity, social justice, inclusion, a fair go for un-Australian. This is an opportunity to do the right thing. I implore our councillors to support nippers, surf club community, and to vote this and support this motion. It's important that we do it. If we actually vote with a conscience, we should be supporting our nippers program. Thank you.
Councillor Veach and then Councillor Gordon.
Thank you. I most definitely will not be voting in support of this motion. And in response to Councillor Burst's comment, it was in relation to Snake Park, where a section of the park was essentially going to be asphalted to make permanent parking. And so the suggestion for game day on grass parking was as an alternative to permanently removing a section of the park to make way for paved concrete car parking. We do not need this. We have successful nipper programs at all across our beaches, including at Clovelly and Coogee, which somehow managed to have fantastic, successful nipper programs without the benefit of overflow parking. And I'm not sure how the residents there would react if you were to propose that their local parks were taken over by nipper parking during the nipper season. We 100% support all of our surf clubs and the vital work of the nipper programs. But people want their kids to be safe in the water, in the surf, regardless of whether they can get a park right next to the beach. They're going to do that anyway for all of the right reasons, to keep their kids safe, strong and healthy. It's a great program. It will continue on regardless, and I would like to commend all of the surf clubs for their terrific work over all these decades. The nippers will continue. I do note, I'm not sure why Councillor Rosenfeld is always proposing parks next to local schools for sort of things like off-leash dog parks and parking. We saw that Gollan Park was being proposed for a off-leash dog park, which is right across from South Coogee Public and the Early Learning Centre, and now he wants to turn Broad Arrow Reserve, which is right next to St Mary St Joseph School. It's used, they do not have that much space at that school, and they use Broad Arrow Reserve for all of their sports programs, as well as I think for just playing at lunchtime. So they need to make sure that that park is not turned into a dust bowl. We need to look after it. Our community deserves green open spaces for their recreation, and it also serves as a very important permeable space in that very low-lying area of Maroubra, where I know residents can be impacted by flooding. We don't need more impacted areas of ground that would potentially cause greater flooding in that area, and I urge councillors to vote against this motion.
Is it a question?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I've got a question for the Director of the City Services. Has there been a request from either of the Surf Lifesaving Clubs of Maroubra for access to Broad Arrow Reserve for parking in the last 12 months?
Thank you. To the Director of City Services.
Thank you. Through yourself, Mr Mayor. In my dealings with both surf clubs over the past 12 months, I haven't received a request from the President or a board member to requesting the access to Broad Arrow for overflow parking.
Thank you. Councillor Gordon.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So we've heard that there has not been a formal request from either surf club to institute this proposal. But what we have heard from is the community, and the last time this went to community consultation, it was defeated. The community said no. And this is really important because as far as I'm concerned, the circumstances since the last 3 months ago this was raised and 3 months ago before that this was raised, the circumstances have not changed. Council's position should stay the same. We need to avoid turning our beautiful green spaces and parks into parking lots. And I just wanted to say, Maroubra is paradise. Maroubra Beach is paradise, and Councillor Rosenfeld's proposal would in fact pave paradise and put up a parking lot. So I just can't support this proposal.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? Sorry, thank you. Councillor Burst has a question.
I've got a question through to the proposer. And I'll
To
just
the
go
mover of the
through-
motion.
To the mover of the motion.
Yep.
Is this park riddled with bindies? Is it sandy and exposed dirt? Is it only used for dog walking at night? No one really has picnics there because it's just not the right place. Is it also used every month for markets where trucks run on there, drop off equipment and drop off their covered awnings and so on, and people trudge across that?
Point of order, sorry. Questions shall be put succinctly.
I'm doing that. Let me
will
get to the end
uphold
of it,
that.
please.
Thank you.
There's no need to interrupt. And so if these trucks are running over that parked area, that grassed area, every month when there's markets on, I would assume there'd be more damage done than a few cars 17 times a year. Would that be correct?
Councillor Rosenfeld, you're Dorothy Dixer.
Yeah, correct on all those, Councillor Burst.
Yep, thank you. Are there any further speakers on the matter? There being... Okay, Councillor Martin.
Can I ask a question to the proposer as well?
You may ask her, Dorothy
that,
Dixer, yes.
Thank you. We've heard that there's been no official contact with council from either president of the surf clubs, but have you in fact yourself ever had a conversation with either president of the surf clubs about the situation at Broad Arrow Parking, and what is their view from your conversations?
Yes, I've had a conversation with both of them, and they're both firmly 100% in favour of overflow parking. And in fact, I understand that we started trialling it last year before it was finished, and then I understand them. I believe there must have been some communication from at least one of the presidents before we started it, because we started it at the beginning of the last season. So I find it, that must some conversation must have occurred there. But going back to your question, 100%, they're 100%. Both presidents are in favour of overflow parking.
Thank you, Councillor Gooden.
Just got a question through to the mover of the motion. When was those requests or the conversations that you had with the surf club presidents made?
Thank you, Councillor Rosenfeld.
Okay, I spoke to the president of Maroubra Surf Club before the February motion, and I spoke to the president of the South Maroubra Surf Club before both the November and the February motion.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson. Then I'll go to Councillor D'Souza.
I move that we put the motion.
Okay, there's been a request. I have to put the question. All those in favour? Okay. So I will refer to the General Manager for his advice.
Thanks, Smith. Once the request has been for the motion to be put and it's been seconded, it must be put.
Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah. Okay, that has now been carried. Thank you. All right. It was carried. Councillor, it was carried. Councillor Rosenfeld in reply.
Yes, so basically just in response to a few things, as far as the school, we're talking about NIPA program on a Sunday, and schools are not in on a Sunday. So that's obviously, I'm fully aware there's a school next door, but they're not there, so there won't be any issue to the students whether there, so no issue there. And as far as the NIPAs are concerned, it's fantastic that Councillor Veitch, and I'm sure a lot of you are 100% supportive of the NIPAs program, but I'm hearing that we're having less people participating, less kids participating in NIPAs in Maroubra. I'm not sure about the other two areas, but I'm a Central Ward councillor, and that's what I represent. And I'm hearing from both clubs that got less people. So in fact, we are not being advantageous to the NIPA program by not allowing this overflow parking, which will result, and seems to be resulting in less numbers. So please support the motion. And as I mentioned right at the beginning, this is a great alternative to parking meters, which, as we can see, the community seems to be vastly against. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'll now put it. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that lost. There's been a request for a division. All those in favour of the motion, please raise your hand. We have councillors Hamilton, Hay, Rosenfeld, Luxford, Martin, Said, Burst. All those against? All those against, we have Wellington, Magna, Veach, Gordon, Asgari, Wilson, D'Souza, and the Mayor. I declare the motion lost. Thank you. We now move to NM 38/26, Notice of Motion from Councillor Burst, 25th anniversary of the Bali terrorist bombings. Move. Yes.
Point of order, I noticed Councillor Burst taking a photo of the screen and note that photography is not permitted in the chamber.
Thank you. I will uphold that point of order. Thank you. No photography is permitted in the chamber without the express. Okay. Well, then we won't have an issue with me upholding the point of order. Thank you, because there is no photography permitted in the chamber. We now move to your notice of motion, Councillor Burst, 25th anniversary of the Bali terrorist bombings. Moved, Councillor Burst, seconded by.
I'll second.
Seconded by Councillor Hay.
Everyone keeps sneaking my seconds.
I think it's a simple, straightforward motion. Unfortunately, next year we will have the 25th anniversary of the Bali terrorist bombings on the 12th of October in 27. The memorial needs a spruce up, it needs an upgrade, it needs to show the respect that memorial needs, and it's a place of reflection for a lot of the local people in South Ward that were affected by the Bali bombings. So I hope you'll support this. It's an opportunity to forward plan and prepare this very significant and solemn milestone. Let's ensure it gets the attention that the community memorial deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hayes, the seconder. Is that right? Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, I'll now put it. All those in favour? Aye. All those against? Declare that carried. Next question. Next one is NM 39/26. Notice of motion from Councillor Burst, making cycling safer in Randwick Council LGA by using bicycle paths and bicycle lanes.
As we all know, there is more people on the road, more cars on the road. There's more bikes on the road. So I think it's important that Randwick City Council looks at making cycling safer in Randwick City Council by using bicycle paths and bicycle lanes. It's an opportunity for us to investigate, to look at clear signage, markings and visuals across bike paths and bike lanes that encourage and remind cyclists about Randwick City Council's to use the bicycle lanes and bicycle paths provided across the roadwork network of Randwick LGA for a safer Randwick City. I think it's straightforward, and I hope the councillors will support basically a safer Randwick City Council.
Thank you. Councillor Hayes, the seconder.
Thank you. Who likes to improve safety? So let's definitely everyone support this motion.
Thank you. Councillor Veach.
I have an amendment which I sent through to Mr. Kelly.
Thank you.
And first up, I'd like to thank Councillor Burst for his motion and for basically throwing his support behind bike paths, because they are an incredibly important piece of safety infrastructure in that they keep cyclists safe. They keep them completely separate from motorists, and they also keep pedestrians safe, because it means cyclists don't need, who are avoiding those very busy roads. It also means they don't have to ride on the footpath. However, the issue, the reason that in some cases cyclists may not be using them is that we have so few of them, and the ones that we do have are completely disconnected. And so cyclists, particularly our more confident and faster cyclists, they start off at home, they're going to work or uni or to the shops, wherever they're going. They get on the road, it might be a K or 5 Ks, who knows, before they can get a bike pass. So they just keep going. They're not going to sort of deviate and go off. So we need to get more. We need to get more cycleways in. Unfortunately, the cycleways that are there are highly visible. The cyclists all know where they are. There are other reasons which may be preventing them from using them. So, councillors, I'd urge you to support my amendment, which is basically to call for the more funding to finish off our cycleways. We've got plans for quite a number of them. It will improve safety for cyclists, motorists and pedestrians, and I hope you'll support. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder to the amendment? Seconded by Councillor Magna. Thank you. Councillor Magna, do you wish to speak to it?
Reserve my right.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers on the amendment?
I will accept the amendment in an amended form, in that if we can make, we've already got a point A, investigate clear signage. So under that motion, if you, what I'd presented was a point A, investigate, and I'd like to add Councillor Veitch's amendment as a point B. So if you look at the motion, that council investigate, if that becomes point A.
Sorry, Mr. Kelly, before you make any changes, I'm going to ask the mover of the amendment if that is intent of her amendment to have an A and a B, or is it to substitute the words? Yep.
Then are you actually, Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question?
You can ask the question, yeah.
But then, actually, if you do that, are we drifting very far away from what the actual amendment's all about? The motion, sorry, the motion is about signage. The actual amendment is about building cycle paths, and they're both actually as important as each other, but they actually don't relate at all to each other.
Yeah, we'll do an A and a B, and then that's.
Yeah. You're going to do a point A, and so you've changed your position, Councillor Veitch. Okay. In light of that, point A will be the motion moved Burst Hay, and a new point B will be included Veitch Magna. Are there any further speakers on the motion as amended? There being no further speakers on the motion as amended, Councillor Burst, do you wish to close the debate? Okay, thank you. We'll now put the question. Okay, all those in favour? Aye. All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We now move to NM 40/26, notice of motion from Councillor Burst, La Perouse Museum audit of all museum items and artefacts. With Councillor Burst, do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Seth.
What I'm requesting is to conduct an audit of the museum items with a breakdown of the museum 5 pillars themes, by 5 pillars themes. I think it's important as councillors that we show true governance, and we always talk about governance, and that's one of our roles. It's one of our key roles, one of our key eye care roles. It's also one of our oaths as councillors when we first get elected, to ensure we have good governance. Now, this is an opportunity to identify what we've got, what's in our storerooms, what's on the spreadsheets, and so we've got a clear understanding of all of the artefacts that are owned or managed by the La Perouse Museum. So I ask my fellow councillors to support this, as it's just good and simple governance as councillors. Thank you.
Councillor Seth is the seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I heard the mover of the motion actually mention with the audit to know where the actual, where items are being held, the ones that were moved from the museum. It's not very clear in the motion. Can I just ask him to add a few words about conduct an audit and also bring back a report about where the items are being held, stored?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there any? Oh, sorry, Councillor Rosenfeld. Then I go to Councillor Veach.
Yeah, fully support the motion. There were some great artefacts there. The one with the King Louis, especially when he's it appears that he's instructing La Perouse, is a fantastic piece of history there, and it's really important that we get to preserve these items, and certainly in King Louis's time, if these paintings were always seen as very significant. So fully support it.
Thank you, Councillor Veach.
Thank you. I won't be supporting this motion. I don't believe most of the exhibitions at the museum are temporary exhibitions. I don't believe that we actually have a very large collection, and the majority of the collection would have been made, would have been purchased before the 5 themes were ever even made, as you know, resolved by council. So I just don't know that it's relevant, because I don't even know what the budget is for collecting. There's no space to store them. And once again, I believe the 5 theme pillar was introduced probably in the last 5 or 6 years. And I don't know how much we would have even collected since then. It's just literally going to be a waste of our council officers' time. We currently are obviously going to be recruiting for a new curator down there. I don't know how they're going to find the time. Also, the types of artefacts that Councillor Rosenfeld were referring to were all returned back to France. We were only showing replicas, because once the council back in the day made the unfortunate decision to get rid of the climate control, France took back all of those precious objects that they had loaned to us, and we're exhibiting replicas. I don't know. I mean, I guess they're part of the collection, so I won't be supporting this motion. The staff down there are doing absolutely tremendous work. We need to keep supporting them and supporting the wonderful exhibitions that they are bringing to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? Councillor Wilson.
I have a question for the relevant officer. Would that be Director of Community, Culture and Community? Is it true that people sometimes donate items to the museum? Would it be possible to audit those items?
Thank you. Through to the Director of Community and Culture.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, it's true, from time to time the museum is offered items, and there is a process that goes through to the trust around whether or not the museum absorbs them into the council-owned collection.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Okay, are there any further speakers? Lovely. Councillor Burst, would you like to reply?
We don't know what we don't know. It's that simple. So to stick our heads in the sand and say we don't want to know is not good governance, and I'm disappointed if any councillor would not want good governance in this council chamber. So I hope you'll support my motion, because good governance is the cornerstone of Randwick City Council and what we do. So if we don't want to know what we don't want to know, that's not good governance. So I implore everybody to support this motion. It's a simple audit, and if we say we can't do a simple audit, well, then we need to start looking at why we've now got inventory that we don't know anything about. So I ask you to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. I now put the question. All those in favour? Aye. All those against? No. I declare that carried. Thank you. All right, we move to the next item, NM41/26 from Councillor Burst, Boulevard Reserve, Malabar, Playground Softball. Moved Councillor Burr, seconded by Councillor Sid.
I've received some feedback from the local community, and it's been identified that Boulevard Reserve at Malabar, it's a little in the back of Malabar there. It's a nice little, beautiful little park, and it's got a little children's playground, but it looks like it's sprouting grass. So I don't know what's happened to the softfall. So this motion is about if we can have a look at it and see why it's deteriorated. Is there a problem with the vendor that does these treatments? Is there something wrong with the mix of the treatment that's maybe caused this, and does it affect other playgrounds? So I think good common sense and governance would be that you would do a quick check as our teams out there planting trees and trimming back stuff. They're going to have a quick look at the playgrounds next week and just make sure that this isn't a bigger problem and it's just an isolated incident. And hopefully it is just an isolated incident. So I ask you to support making sure that the equipment we have for our community is up to standard. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sid is the seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I just want to say thank you to Councillor Burst for bringing this to council. For those councillors who still live in the LGA, we like to talk to our residents, and this is the way we find out about what's happening in the area, and especially when it comes to parks like this are a little bit hidden away. It's unless the residents tell us what's happening, that's how we find out what's going on.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, I now put it. All those in favour? Aye. All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We now move to NM4/42/26, moved by Councillor Wilson, seconded by Councillor Asghari. Councillor Wilson.
As Councillor Magna mentioned earlier in the evening, very often we have competing interests and competing priorities, but I think one thing on which we all are united as councillors is the beauty of our local government area and the importance of our heritage. Now, this particular motion is very similar to a motion that was moved by Councillor Hamilton regarding a house in Dutroux Street earlier this year or late last year, and a motion last year by Councillor Asghari regarding a house in Mount Street in Coogee. And it's not actually demanding that council apply for, or that an interim heritage order is imposed on this property. What I'm asking for, or what the council would be asking for if we pass this motion, would be a request that there's an investigation regarding the heritage significance of the property at 11A Dudley Street, and the preparation of an appropriate heritage assessment. And of course that's an objective test, and it's not up to us, it's up to the experts as to whether that's available, heritage listing. And then if two criteria are met, if the investigation identifies that the property may have heritage significance, and secondly, may be at risk of demolition, alteration or development that could compromise its heritage values, then council would consider making an interim heritage order under the Heritage Act to provide temporary protection while a full heritage assessment is undertaken. So that's what we're asking for, and it seems to me, for more abundant caution, that all of us as councillors want to protect our local government area heritage, because once it's gone, we can't get it back. So I commend the motion to you.
Thank you. Councillor Asghari is the seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and also thank Mr. Paul Chilcott for his presentation and talk. And I'm pleased to second this motion and would like to thank and congratulate Councillor Wilson for bringing it forward. I'm pleased to speak in support of this motion and the protection of the unique character and atmosphere of Coogee Village. Coogee is much more than just a group of buildings. It's a unique place with its own character, shaped over many years by its history and a strong community spirit. Heritage buildings are an important part of that character. They connect us to our past and help tell the story of how Coogee became the vibrant coastal community we know and we love today. When heritage buildings are lost, as Councillor Wilson mentioned, we lose more than bricks and cement. We lose a sense of place. We lose the future that makes Coogee different from any other suburb. Once these buildings are demolished or significantly altered, they cannot be replaced. The mix of historic buildings, local business, walkable streets that people value deeply, protecting heritage helps maintain this character and support the local community, the local economy by preserving the qualities that make the area attractive and memorable. I encourage Council and all councillors to continue supporting strong heritage protections and to recognize the importance of preserving the environment of Coogee Village for current residents and future generations. As a local councillor, I value Coogee not only for its beautiful beach, but for the village. Thank you, councillors, and I support the motion and encourage you to support it as well. And the good news is that the auction was supposed to be last Tuesday, and I'm aware that it's going to be on the 2nd of June. So we have time to let the buyers know about the result.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? Councillor said.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I support the motion. I just want to ask the relevant officer, which I have on 3 occasions now, because this is the 3rd time a heritage-style building has come to council. We had a very comprehensive study in 2019 with not world famous, but very well done consultants. And it seems like there's been a whole heap of places missed in Coogee especially. Do you think we'll be doing another comprehensive study again soon? Because it seems like there seems to be buildings that are being missed out.
Through to the Acting Director of City Planning.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, there is a heritage study which will be commenced very shortly.
I'll take that.
Thank you. Councillor Hay.
Mr. Chilcott spoke earlier about how... a question through the mayor to the relevant officer. Mr. Chilcott spoke earlier about how this was on the outside of a heritage conservation area. Is there a reason why this wouldn't have been included in the heritage conservation area or similar?
Through to the Acting Director of City Planning.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, this is not within a heritage conservation area. It was never proposed to be included. Yeah.
Follow-up question. Approximately how many buildings that we have in the Art Deco style are currently protected?
Through to the Acting Director.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I would have to go back and check that and provide that to Council.
And finally, we received a letter from Mr. Wheely, a partner at Mills Oakley, commenting about the legal status of this motion. What are your thoughts on the letter? Or perhaps the question for the General Manager as well.
To the General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillors, all that's been asked here by Councillor Wilson's motion is request us to do something to investigate it. So the case that they were making in the legal letter is not representative of actually what's actually on the business paper. And what Councillor Wilson put on the business paper is a lawful motion.
In line with that advice, do we have any further questions or speakers? There being no further speakers, Councillor Wilson, do you wish to close the debate?
No, thank you.
It being a planning matter, a record of voting is required. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Okay. I declare that unanimous. Thank you. We now move to NM 45/26, notice of motion from Councillor NM43/26. Notice of motion from Councillor Martin. Support for the naming of the Craigweed Forest at Coogee Yanga Forest. Moved Councillor Martin, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Tonight we had an excellent presentation from the project coordinator, Claudia Santori, and I thank her again already for attending the meeting. I was fortunate enough to be a part of this community workshop and the process. It was fabulous learning about this incredible restoration program and being involved in discussions around finding the appropriate name for this underwater forest. As someone who swims regularly along the coastline, I now look at this part of Coogee very differently, knowing what exists beneath the surface and the amazing work that has gone into the restoring of this marine habitat. So this notice of motion really is just asking the council to provide a formal letter of support for the proposed name Yanga Forest as part of the application process to the New South Wales Geographical Names Board. And also to consider some signage in the future so the community and visitors can learn about the incredible underwater ecosystem. It's a wonderful environmental story for Coogee, and I'm proud to support it tonight.
Thank you. Councillor Hamilton. Thank you. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, now put it. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We now move to NM 44/26. Notice of motion from Councillor Martin. Picnic hut repairs, Coogee Beach. Moved Councillor Martin, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, I think I'll be very short. I think the photographs tell you exactly what this motion is about. The picnic huts are used all year round at Coogee. These are photos of the south end and the north end huts. So really it's a notice of motion for council to investigate the current condition of those huts and to undertake the necessary repair and maintenance. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hamilton.
Yes, I think this is a great motion. I'm fully supportive. I hope that they cover the whole beach so it heads into North Ward and East Ward is covered. And I agree with Councillor Martin that the pictures do tell the story, and it's been something that many residents have raised with me as well. So well done.
Thank you. Councillor Wilson.
I'd like to move an amendment. I think Mr Kelly has the amendment. Essentially, we're adding at A, after investigate the current condition of the picnic huts at Coogee, I'd like to add and other beachside picnic furniture, meaning at other beaches, and that in C, where it says with a focus on restoring and maintaining the existing, we'd add Coogee. So we'd like to restore and maintain the existing Coogee structures rather than replacing or demolishing. But if we did work at other beaches where the structures are not quite so iconic, we might just replace them with something more modern.
Thank you. Before I call for a seconder, Councillor Martin, do you accept the amendments? Thank you. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, we'll now... Oh, do you wish to close the debate? No? Okay, thank you. I'll now put it. All those in favour? Aye. All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We now move to NM 45/26. Notice of motion from Councillor Luxford. Water stations... Oh, sorry, no, not that one. Notice... Sorry, have I skipped one? No. Okay, great. NM 45/26, notice of motion from Councillor Luxford, water stations for the MacGyver's Ladies Baths, moved by Councillor Luxford, seconded by Councillor Wilson. Thank you. Councillor Luxford, could you please move your...
So I'm just moving them, moving the motion in a slightly amended form, and I think Mr. Kelly might have it there, just to also assist with celebratory things that will be happening in the future for for MacGyver's, but MacGyver's is turning 150, and it would be a nice gesture that for their 150th birthday that we assist them by putting in a water station, which they don't have at MacGyver's at the moment, and the patrons there don't really have anywhere to fill up bottles, etc. So, yeah, speaks for itself, and I think it would be lovely for us to do that for them.
Thank you. Councillor Wilson is the seconder.
Yes, I think this is a wonderful idea, and I thank Councillor Luxford for moving this way. The MacGyver's baths are a tremendous community asset, and I don't know if there's anything like them anywhere else in Australia. Certainly nothing like it anywhere else in the eastern suburbs. It's my personal baths where I like to go, and I think the addition of a water station is an excellent idea, and also any other contribution that council could possibly make towards the celebration of this 150 anniversary would be absolutely very much appreciated by all the community.
Thank you. Councillor Veach.
I too would like to speak in support. They're a wonderful club. MacGyver's Bars is an iconic location. It is just highly valued and loved by so many people in our community. Just a quick question about the amendment. Does the wording support, would that to the relevant council officer, would that wording also include the meaning funding, or would we have to say funding as well? Would support include funding?
Through to the General Manager.
I think, Mr. Mayor, I would take that as council support, such as promoting it and financial funding for it.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, I now put the question. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. We now move to NM 46/26. Councillor Luxford. Seconded by Councillor Hay.
Okay, so this is just some questions that I think our community needs answered sooner rather than later. The destruction of the Moore Park Golf Course now goes far beyond golf. There's been soil testing that has been conducted, but nobody has the results yet of that soil testing. For those of us who've been around long enough, we know that the RSPCA was situated on that Moore Park Golf Course site, and it wasn't a very modern RSPCA as we kind of know it now. And in fact, many animals were treated there, many animals were destroyed there and disposed of on that site. We also know that it was a tip. Excuse me. So the soil has to be contaminated in one way or another, and the digging up of those grounds will only push contaminated contaminants through to the West Ward and to the people of Randwick. So we need to know what's going on there with that soil before anybody puts a digger through it. There's also the removal of 40 trees, and those trees will be removed also from Dacey Avenue, which is, there are some magnificent fig trees now. We talk about wanting to make the park into a park, yet we want to remove the tree canopy from the park. So my question is, why is it necessary to remove those 40 trees? And the third thing is, there is a discussion paper that's been released, and in that discussion paper there is talk of the supercentre being demolished and redeveloped into something like 4 stories of retail and 30 stories of residential. This sits right on Todman Avenue, right on Westward, right on in our LGA, you know, like we share it with Clover. This would be really detrimental to our area. There's no infrastructure there. There's no nothing. Like, it's congested as it is at the moment. They've put in a new set of traffic lights now, which just came up in the last month for some reason or another. No one can work out why, but perhaps it's to aid with the redevelopment when and if it happens. And the other thing is that this development needs Moore Park Golf Course for green space, and because Clover hasn't given sufficient green space to most of her other developments, and especially the one now that is coming up on Epsom Road, where the old Sutton side is, there is no green space. And this is why the golf course is being carved up to provide green space so that she can keep overdeveloping the area, which then impacts on us. So we need to probably be in front of this development, not behind it, and find out what is going on so that we can get the best out of it for our residents, who will be severely impacted if this development goes ahead. So these questions need to be answered for the better of our community and for the better of the Randwick residents.
Thank you. Councillor Hayes, the seconder.
Look, this what's happening here is immediately outside the LGA, but it is going to directly impact a lot of the residents of Northwest Kensington, including people living in the Rayleigh Park area. We also just voted through a resilience strategy where we have just voted on the importance of being resilient against environmental risks, including Councillor Veach put an amendment up about toxic chemicals. And how do you be resilient against toxic chemicals? You ask the question, what is in the soil testing that is in danger of being dug up at this golf course? So I trust everyone is deeply cared about the environmental risks and at least asking the question and knowing what might happen if we dig up this ground in the golf course. And yes, let's ask about the trees. Let's ask about the future of Moore Park Supercentre and how that will impact us as well. I urge everyone to support. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further speakers? Councillor Burst.
I would just like to commend Councillor Luxford on this notice of motion. It's great to see that we're fighting back. This is potentially an absolute toxic minefield, and I think transparency is one of the big keys. So I commend Councillor Luxford, and also while we're talking about transparency, maybe to the Mayor, what deal do you plan to do in September with the council elections, with the mayoral elections, if you want to?
Point of order, speeches should be relevant to the topic of conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll withdraw that.
Yes, it's gratuitous. Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, we'll now put the motion. Councillor Luxford, do you wish to close the debate? Okay, we'll now put it.
No.
All those in favour?
Oh, good.
All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. There being... That's it. No further business. There being no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 9:02 p.m. Thank you, councillors.